All right, Elon Musk and his XAI team, they're at it again.
Oh, are they ever?
This time, it's Grok 3.
Grok 3.
And they're saying it's, get this, the smartest AI on Earth.
Well, Elon does love to make a splash.
Oh, yeah, there's always a bit of showmanship, right?
A bit, for sure.
But we're not here for just the headlines.
No, we're diving deeper.
Exactly. We want to figure out what Grok 3 actually is, what it can do, and, whether all this hype is actually justified.
And we've got an article all ready to go to break it all down.
So is Grok 3 really a game changer? Let's find out.
All right, let's get into it.
This Grok 3, it's their third version of this, like conversational AI.
Right, so they've been working on this for a while.
Yeah, and it seems like they've pushed things pretty far this time around.
From what I've read, it's not just about answering questions anymore.
No, not just that. They're saying it can help us solve some really tough problems.
Oh, like what kind of problems?
Like in math, science, maybe even programming.
Wow, that's ambitious.
Yeah, and they've got like a whole family of these Grok things.
That family?
Well, yeah, there's the main Grok 3, the big one.
Okay, the big one.
But then there's also a mini version for, quick questions.
Right. Makes sense.
And then there's these reasoning models.
Reasoning models, what are those for?
They're designed to really break problems down step by step.
Huh, interesting. So it's not just one AI, it's like a whole team of them working together.
That's a good way to put it. And get this, they built this whole thing on this massive supercomputer.
A supercomputer?
Yeah, it's called Colossus. It has 200,000 NVIDIA H100 GPUs.
200,000.
Yeah, that's 10 times more powerful than what they use for Grok 2.
Whoa, they really went all out on this one.
They definitely did. They're clearly aiming high with this. But for you listening, think about it. A truth-seeking AI. That could change everything.
It could, yeah. Imagine an AI that could sort through all the information out there, find the real patterns, give us insights we could never find on our own.
Yeah. What mysteries could we solve? What breakthroughs could we have? It's really exciting to think about.
It is. Its potential is huge. But let's get into some specifics here. What about the features of Grok 3? Anything in the article stand out to you?
Well, this deep search thing, that's pretty wild.
Deep search.
Yeah, it's not just searching the internet like we're used to. It can also tap into Elon Musk's X feed.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of data.
A ton. But the really cool part is that Grok 3 can, synthesize all that information and then actually explain how it got to its conclusions.
Oh, really? So it's transparent?
Yeah, it shows its work.
Yeah.
Which is a big deal for AI, because a lot of times it's a black box. We don't know how it's thinking.
That's true, and that can be a problem. If we're going to rely on AI to help us understand complex issues, we need to be able to trust it.
Exactly. And that's where this transparency comes in.
Right. It helps build trust. So what else? What about these reasoning models? How do they work?
Well, they use this thing called chain of thought processing. Basically, the AI is fact-checking itself as it works through a problem.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, kind of like how we do, when we're trying to figure something out.
Makes sense.
And you can even turn on this big brain mode, which gives it even more processing power for really difficult stuff.
So it's like turning up the AI's brain power.
Exactly. And here's the craziest part. It's constantly learning.
Constantly.
Every day it updates its knowledge, pulling in new information, refining its understanding of everything.
Wow, that's impressive. But also kind of scary, right? How do they make sure it's learning the right things?
That is a great question, and one we should definitely get into later. But before we do, let's see how Grok 3 stacks up against the competition.
Yeah, let's see.
They're saying it's blowing other AIs out of the water in these benchmark tests. Math, science, even just user preference. They even have this table comparing it to ChatGPT and DeepSeek.
Oh, yeah, let's see that.
Okay, so one thing they're really emphasizing is Grok 3's focus on this truth-seeking and scientific reasoning.
Okay, so they're positioning it as more than just a chatbot.
Exactly. While ChatGPT, they're saying, is more for creative stuff and general tasks. And DeepSeek, that's all about being cost-effective.
So each one has its own specialty.
Yeah, but for actually solving complex problems and discovering new knowledge, XAI is saying Grok 3 is the way to go.
All right, I'm following. What about speed?
Well, it's apparently 10 times faster than Grok 2, which is crazy.
Wow, that's a huge improvement.
But, they admit ChatGPT can still be faster for some really complex tasks. So it kind of depends on what you're using it for.
Right. So it's not a clear win in every category.
Not exactly. But how about accessibility? Can anyone use Grok 3, or is it just for scientists and big companies.
Well, they're doing a few different subscription options, so it won't be locked away completely.
Okay.
There's X Premium Plus for $50 a month.
$50 a month. And then there's this new tier called Super Grok for $30 a month or $300 for the whole year.
Super Grok, huh? What's so super about it?
Well, you get unlimited deep search queries with that one and some image generation stuff that's not in the basic Premium Plus Paul.
So if you're really going to be digging deep into Grok 3, Super Grok's the way to go.
It seems like it, yeah.
And I bet they have a business version, too.
Well, they do. An enterprise API is in the works.
Figures.
So they're aiming for a wide range of users, from individual researchers to huge corporations.
Makes sense. They want to get this thing out there.
For sure. Okay, but before we move on, there's this one feature I want to circle back to. This anti-distillation thing. It's a bit techy, but it sounds pretty important.
Oh, yeah, anti-distillation. I read about that.
So distillation, it's like when you train a smaller AI model using a bigger one as a teacher. You're basically squeezing the knowledge of the bigger model into a smaller package.
Right. Makes it more efficient.
Exactly. But XAI is accusing some competitors of using this to copy OpenAI's models.
Interesting.
So with Grok 3, they put in these anti-distillation measures to protect their stuff.
Makes sense. They don't want people stealing their work.
Right. But it does make you wonder, if everyone's keeping their secrets so close, does that slow down progress in AI overall?
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a tricky balance, We want innovation, but we also want collaboration.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how that all plays out.
Definitely.
Okay, so we've talked about the features, the competition, all that. But the real question is Grok 3 as smart as Elon says it is? And what does that mean for the world if it is?
Yeah, what does it all mean? That's the big question we need to answer.
And that's what we're going to dive into right after this. Okay, so we've got a good grasp on how Grok 3 works, how fast it is, and how it measures up against those other AIs out there. But now let's step back a bit.
Yeah, the big picture.
What does it all actually mean? If this thing really is as big a deal as they're making it out to be,
right,
how could it actually change things?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? I mean, we can look at all the technical stuff, but what we really want to know is what are the implications of having an AI that can actually, think and reason at this level?
Exactly. Let's start with the good stuff. The article mentions Grok 3 could speed up scientific discoveries, solve those problems we've been stuck on for years, even play a part in, get this, colonizing Mars.
Colonizing Mars.
Yeah. So is that realistic, or is that just, more Elon being Elon?
Well, I think we got to separate the potential from the hype, right? There's no doubt that if this thing does what they say it can do, it could be a total game changer in a lot of different areas. Just imagine an AI that can look through tons of scientific research, find those hidden patterns, even come up with new hypotheses that we'd never even thought of.
So it's not about replacing scientists, it's more like giving them a powerful tool.
Exactly. It's about collaboration. And this isn't just about science either. Think about medicine, engineering, economics, anything where you got to solve complex problems.
Right.
Grok 3 could help us develop new treatments, design better systems, even make better predictions about, well, pretty much anything.
Okay, so that's the optimistic view. But what about the downsides? What should we be worried about as this technology gets, more powerful and more common?
Well, one of the big challenges, and this is true for any AI really, is making sure it's used responsibly, ethically. We got to be careful about bias, unintended consequences, even people using it for bad stuff.
Right. And speaking of that, they mentioned those anti-distillation measures to protect their work. But how does that affect everyone else working on AI? Could that actually slow down progress if everyone's keeping secrets?
Yeah, it's a valid point. There's this tension between protecting your inventions and, sharing ideas so everyone can benefit. Ideally, we want both. We want innovation, but we also need safeguards to make sure AI is being developed for the right reasons.
So it's not just about the technology itself, it's about how we use it.
Exactly. And we need to be having these conversations now because AI is developing so quickly. We need to be thinking about the long term, not just the immediate benefits.
It's like we're at this crossroads, and the decisions we make now are going to affect how AI develops for a long time. It's both exciting and kind of scary,
I agree. But I think we got to approach this with, cautious optimism. AI has the potential to do a lot of good in the world, but it's up to us to make sure it's used wisely.
Okay, so let's talk about one of the most interesting parts of this whole thing. Elon Musk saying he wants to send Grok 3 to Mars with SpaceX in 2026.
To Mars.
Yeah. Is that just science fiction, or could we really see AI playing a big role in space exploration soon?
It's definitely a bold idea. But, Elon, anything's possible with him. I think it's important to remember that AI is already being used in space exploration.
Right, for sure.
Navigation systems, data analysis, things like that. Grok 3, with its advanced reasoning, could take that to a whole new level.
So imagine an AI that can not only get us to Mars, but also help the astronauts with complicated tasks, analyze data in real time, maybe even make crucial decisions during the mission.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing when you think about it. Think of the challenges of a Mars mission. The distance, the communication delays, the environment. Having an AI that can think for itself, solve problems on the fly, adapt to unexpected situations, that would be invaluable.
It would. But let's be real. Sending an AI to Mars is one thing.
Right.
Making sure it's reliable, safe, able to work on its own in that environment, that's a whole other challenge.
Absolutely. There are definitely a lot of obstacles, but the potential payoff is huge. Imagine an AI helping us unlock the secrets of Mars, maybe even helping us colonize it someday. It's a pretty exciting thought.
So for someone listening who's been following along with us, what's the main takeaway here? What should they be thinking about as they consider Grok 3 and, the future of AI in general?
I think the most important thing is to realize that AI isn't something that's going to happen in the future. It's happening now.
Right, it's already here.
It's evolving quickly, and it's already affecting our lives in big ways. Grok 3 is just one example of that. And as AI gets more advanced, we need to have serious conversations about what that means for us.
It's not about being afraid of AI or just blindly accepting it. It's about understanding its potential and making sure we're using it for good.
Exactly. It's a tool. And like any tool, it can be used for good or bad. It's our responsibility to make sure we're using it wisely.
Okay, that's a good point to leave our listeners with. We've covered a lot today, the technical stuff, the big implications, even AI on Mars. But before we wrap up, I want to go back to one of our first questions. Is Grok 3 really the smartest AI on Earth?
Well, that's a tough one to answer.
Yeah.
Intelligence is a complicated thing, and there's no one way to measure it, especially when it comes to AI. Grok 3 might be really good at certain things, but AI is still young. We're just starting to figure out what's possible.
So, yeah, Grok 3 might be a big step forward, but it's probably just one step in a long journey for AI.
Exactly. And as we continue on this journey, it's important for us to stay curious, stay critical, and keep working to shape the future of this amazing technology.
Well said. And with that, we come to the end of our deep dive into the world of Grok 3. We hope you found this exploration insightful and, well, maybe a little bit mind-blowing. We encourage you to keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep shaping the future. Who knows what incredible AI developments are just around the corner?
The possibilities are truly endless.
Okay, so we've looked closely at all the impressive stuff Grok 3 can do. And we've even thought about, how it could change everything from science to, life on Mars.
It's a lot to take in.
It really is. But before we finish up, I think we should talk about, the bigger picture of all this.
You mean like where AI is going in general?
Exactly. Things are changing so fast with AI.
It's true. We're definitely at a turning point. With things like Grok 3, ChatGPT, all these new AIs coming out, it's not just a sci-fi thing anymore,
No, not at all. It's becoming part of our lives, influencing how we think, what we see, what we can even do. It's kind of like
a new frontier.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Full of possibilities, but also, some uncertainty. We've talked about all the good stuff that could happen.
Right.
But what about the other side of that? The worries people have about technology changing so fast.
Well, it makes sense to feel a little anxious, right? Every time there's a big technological leap, some people get excited and some get scared.
It's happened throughout history. But with AI, it feels different, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Because now we're talking about machines that can learn, that can change, that might even become, smarter than us in some ways.
It makes you question what it means to be human, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah.
And those aren't easy questions to answer.
No, they're not. But I think it's important to talk about them, honestly, without, panicking or ignoring the potential benefits. We need a balanced view of where AI is going.
So, no doom and gloom, but no blind optimism either.
Right. We need to be informed, be curious, and most importantly, we need to be involved in shaping how AI develops.
Because it's not like our future with AI is set in stone.
No, we have a say in it.
Our choices, what we talk about, the questions we ask, that's all going to determine how AI evolves. And that affects everyone.
It does. So as you're listening to this, what are you thinking? What stands out to you about all this? What hopes do you have? What worries you?
Keep those questions in mind. Keep exploring this topic, talk about it with others, and get involved. Because ultimately, the future of AI is up to us.
We have the power to make sure AI is used for good, to solve those big challenges we face and make the world a better place for everyone.
That's a great message to end on. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into Grok 3 and the future of AI. Keep learning, keep questioning, and keep shaping the future.
Absolutely.